Good afternoon. Today I introduce to you one of the cutting edge in leadership formation and delivery in our days. If you observed, or do you know the reason why family-based industries, businesses, and even churches are surviving at a faster rate than corporations and other types of industries that are not patterned on a family basis? There is a trend in our days that we don't just cultivate and, as it were, we have done in the past 60, 70, or 80 years. Emphasis has been on three types of leadership. First of all, it was visionary leadership. Then we went into transformational leadership. And now there is a third approach. And this approach is what we are calling mentoring or mentoring leadership. It's a type of leadership that is being used in the West and has been used in the West probably for the last 30 years. This has explained mostly why the United States, knowingly or not, have led the world. It is because there is a demand for progression as well as for succession. In other words, good leaders are very difficult to come by. So when you have one good leader, you better use the opportunity to diversify their potential into many small leaders that become like them. And that is why some industries have died. It's because the mover, the shaker, the trailblazer has died. And therefore, they have now quirky leadership that can't move production as well as profitability ahead. I introduced to you in the category of this type of modern leadership, ethical mentorship. Ethical mentorship. And the subtitle is as interesting. It says the missing link in transformational leadership. Now you know that most of the people have indeed find a very best or the best use of visionary leadership. Now, what visionary leadership does is coming from the word vision. It provides you with a blueprint. Visionary leadership is not meant to continue to galvanize or even make the organization go ahead further than the beginning of the project. That's when you need visionary leadership. It is there to give you a guidance, but visionary leadership ends there. Then you've got transformers. Transformers are the ones that make what we call profit. They bring resources together and they make the organization better and survive. Now, transformation leadership has been used in our last 30 years, as I said as well. And that's why we see in many sectors of the industry, especially in the tech industry, we found that there have been a lot of progress there. But what is missing there is this, in this quadrant of leaderships, is mentorships. Now, recently, there have been a movement on the theories as well as the various methods of mentoring in action, especially in the sectors such as soft sectors, services, and so on. Now, the emphasis has been on coaching, on setting goals, on bringing the results, as well as mentoring towards a unified solution. So these are good strategies and they have helped a lot. They even have a component on support. That is, after the mentoring process has near ended, and then you could support those that be in order for them to continue to produce results. That is good, and it's happening especially in the West. But in many other parts of the world, and I'm sorry to say in Africa, mentoring leadership hasn't been quite very successful yet. That is because traditionally Africa has looked to the West and copied everything the West does. So in the end, it is 20 years, sometimes even 30 years behind. So by the time it catches up, the West will have gone into a different model of leadership. And that's why this also follows somehow, I'm not saying categorically, in terms of development. For instance, if there is no Mark Zuckerberg in the United States to come up with an idea of Facebook, Africa wait, even if it takes 100 years, to find somebody in the West to come up with a revolutionary idea that Africa wants to buy into. The West is leading. The West leads. Asia does the same. China replicates most of the models that come from the United States. South Korea has become semi-developed because of unifying its ideas on American enterprise. Now, that shouldn't be. Each continent can be developing simultaneously with other continents. It shouldn't be that the United States or America should always lead. Continents have got brains. If they believe in themselves and work together within those contexts of those nations, they could be as productive, as inventive as the United States and Canada and other Western European countries too. Why is it that there's that lag between these two, or this ideal conception of development in two different